Introducing Minor Wisdom Quintet.
1, 2, a skidda-didda-doo.
Minor Wisdom.
This week I have Joi Hughes on the podcast. Joi is a fellow Fort Bend ISD theater teacher, but she teaches at Missouri City Middle School, Mo City, and I adore Joi. Joi is one of the most energetic, one of the most positive, one of the most fun and caring teachers, let alone theater teachers, and I've needed to have her on for a while. And finally, because we're sitting around doing absolutely nothing, I decided, you know what, now's a good time as any. So I had Joi on, and sound quality for this one is really just super awkward, and not awkward, but just odd. My mic, for some reason, wasn't as loud as I thought it was, maybe because I was turning down my headphones because she was in her bathroom, and it was much louder than normal. So I apologize for the inconsistent sound quality for this interview, but that shouldn't deter you from listening. Joi is just a phenomenal human being, and I adore what she does in the classroom. We briefly discussed it, I believe, in the interview about how I showed up to her school one day to help her out, to help her with some technical theater needs, and her students were like just clockwork. They came in, and this was early in the year too. This wasn't even something that happened, months down the line. But mind you, I think some of these were her advanced kids, but still, it was early in the year, and I came in, and her kids were just no direction, no nothing, and they knew exactly what to do. They walked in, she didn't have to say a word to them, and they just got to work. And that's not easy to do. We all talk about how, of course we do that with our cast. But a lot of us don't. We just say we do because we're theater teachers and we have egos, and we want those egos to feel good. So we tell other friends and directors, this is what's happening. School is finally over, and I think a lot of us are relieved that it is, especially those of us that have kids, because we no longer have to be a teacher and be a teacher. So that is something that is very nice and welcoming to us. However, personally speaking, I've been bored AF, and I have a couple of projects that I'm working on, a couple of things that I am doing to keep myself busy, but they're not keeping me busy enough. And so I am finding that I play a lot of PlayStation. I am finding that I watch a lot of just trash television, and I'm finding that even the time that I spend playing with my daughters, I'm still just bored. So I hope this podcast maybe helps you get through some of that boredom. There's no better person to have on this week than Joi Hughes for that. Speaking of boredom, some things to get you busy over the summer. Again, Texas Thespians has some professional development, and I believe I might have misspoke last week. It's $50 for 5 classes, and it's $15 per class. So you're getting a deal if you buy all 5. I think I said 6 last week, and I apologize for that, but it is 5. There are going to be some more on the horizon. Joi might be one of them. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy. That was a complete accident. I hope you guys get a kick out of this podcast this week. I hope you guys are staying safe, staying smart. I hope you guys are working for the fight and making your voice heard for all of the current events that are happening around us right now. I know it's very tough to deal with what's happening right now, but we will get through this, we will persevere, and we will be stronger for it. And I ain't talking about the Rona. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy one of my favorite people in the entire world, Miss Joi Hughes.
Just start talking.
Yeah, just go.
I like to talk about myself in rap.
Okay.
So, okay.
Do it.
All right. Joi Hughes is my name. I'm born in Chicago. Went to school in Indiana from high school until college. Graduate of Indiana State. Sorry, the Indiana State. I'm just kidding. University, where my bachelor's is in theater. When I graduated, I moved to DC the very next day. I had visited, thought it was someplace I wanted to be. So I moved there on Monday morning. I walked into the National Bar Association and said that I had a meeting with the executive director. I did not. He did not know me. But I saw that they were hiring, and I went in there and told him why he needed me to be his membership director.
Yeah.
No experience, straight out of college. I learned later that a lot of people were afraid of him. So the fact that this little country, even though I'm from Chicago, very country.
Sure.
Anyway, this little country girl comes in there and is like, you need to hire me and let me tell you why. And told him all the great things I could do for his membership, and it worked. So I was the membership director for the National Bar Association. That's Black lawyers, judges of the world. Did that. I think I was in DC for about 4 years. In that time, I did commercials and film. Like I would travel to New York. But I always heard, for an unknown Black actor, Houston was the best place to be because you weren't competing with all the New York people. I wasn't small enough for LA. So at the time, I was single, didn't have any kids. My mom was always like, hey, as long as it's just you, you can go anywhere. And if you don't like it, you can always come back. So I moved and came to Houston, where I started working at Texas Southern University as their off-campus housing director. No experience, just talk. I talked my way into jobs. I worked there for about, I guess, 2 or 4 years. I don't remember. I'm bad with math. Met my husband when I got here, so I guess he wasn't at first, but then he didn't want to let me go. So then we got married.
Talked your way into that one too, right?
I talked my way into that one. It's a thing here. So got married. Ended up retiring. I thought it was my time, so I stopped working for about 4 years. I had a child in that time. After 2 years, I had a child. I was a housewife of Houston. And then one day he came home and he was like, hey, you ever thought about teaching? And at the time I had locks, like dreadlocks past my butt. I'm weird anyway, but then I looked weird too. So I was like, nobody hired me in Texas. So I was retired, but he didn't think I was. So I was like, yeah, I'll go on that interview. Because at the time, over the course of 4 years, I had been on 113. So I had just decided no one was going to hire this Rastafarian in conservative Texas. So I went to HISD. It was a fine arts magnet. It was a fine arts magnet. And they needed a theater teacher for pre-K through 8th grade. I was like, yeah, I'll go, babe. Because again, I'm retired. So I had a 2-hour interview, and at the end, they offered me the job. Now, at this point, I had never subbed, never taught, I coached acting like the theater students from TSU or whatever, and worked with in the theater community of Houston. But as far as teaching, never did it. So I told them I needed to speak to my current employer, who was my husband, because again, I was retired and a housewife. But long story short, I ended up taking the job. I was there for 4 years. And there, we did UIL, one play, whatever. Every year there, I advanced to district. So in 4 years, I think I had 3 principals. So moved to Fort Bend County and wanted to work closer to where I now had property.
Right.
So found Missouri City Middle School and
City.
When interviewed, and it was like at the time I'm teaching pre-K through 8th grade every single day by myself.
Right.
So coming to Missouri City, and it was like, 6th through 8th, just me. 3 grades. I was like, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And that's where I've been ever since.
And so one of the main things, there are a lot of things I know about you as far as how you work. I've observed you. I observed you in a non-traditional way, but coming in, the one time I came to see you to help you with Was it projections or lighting or something?
It was, yeah, I needed to turn the power on. It was ultimately what it was.
Well, but you're, and let me back up real fast. I hate definitions of, not that I hate them. I shouldn't say that, but like Title One, low socioeconomic, those titles that are put on schools, I'm not a huge fan of. I understand the reason for it because it
Right.
draws in money from the government, and totally get that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the resources.
Right.
However, I don't think that should classify whether a school should be successful or not. That
I agree.
said, yeah. So is Missouri City classified as a Title One?
We are.
So okay, so here you go. So everybody, especially old white men, have a
Okay.
perception that Title One means poor people, right? And
Yes.
it's not. It's going to be kids are running around. It's going to, there's no discipline. There's like this stigma
Right.
about it, right?
Yes.
So fast forward to what I was gonna originally say. I walk into your class, and I feel like it was in transition in between two classes, maybe, or
It
right at
was.
the beginning. Yeah, and it was some of your top kids that I was seeing, but
Mhm.
you didn't say anything, and those kids just like like I was envious of it, and it was one of the, and I've always kind of known the kind of like aura of Joy Hughes, right? But that was so awesome
Very.
for yeah, yeah, because like my top kids to an extent for rehearsal do that,
Mm.
right? So because you expect that, and it's also it's a privilege to be there, so they know that
Right.
their butt's on the line. You can tell them to go home at any time. You can't do that during the school day, so they can kind of take advantage of that and be like, I can do whatever I want because it's the school day, right? Like you're
No.
not going to tell me to go home. Your kids though walked in, some of them more aggressively than others because they were excited to be there, and just immediately went into class mode, and the bell hadn't even rung yet. Like they hadn't even
Bell rings, we start. They have to be ready before the bell
yeah,
rings.
it was crazy. And like so and kudos to you on that. That's just me kind of building you up. Now, question for you,
Yeah.
and I know the answer, but people that listen don't. You have had the number as my room falls apart. You this just fell off the wall. You have had the numbers now to
Mhm.
have two directors, right?
Yes.
For a while, for a couple years. What, 2, 3 years at least?
Three.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
but you have said I don't want that.
I
Okay.
don't.
Now I know the answer again, but I want you to explain what is it that you are sort of just kind of skirting or trying to get around or avoiding by having that person come in, no matter who it is. It could be the unicorn that Megan had at Sartarsha. It could be the opposite, and maybe that's part of the problem.
That is the problem.
So, but
Quite
yeah, let's talk.
honestly, yeah, because I came into this thing, I learned on the job, which I guess everybody does essentially.
Right.
But when I learned, it was 9 preps, pre-K, kinder, first,
Right.
second, third through eighth, and all of them perform. So where I had my pre-Ks, they can't read, but you know the lyrics to this song.
Right.
So now you're gonna learn the lyrics to this play, or the lines to the play. So I produce plays with all levels of kids by myself. So if I'm only now dealing with 3 grades, I do 6 shows a year, including a musical. And we don't have tech, so I don't know where that other person is needed.
Yeah.
And what I don't want is a body. I don't need to direct a grown person. And if I'm being honest, I don't know if like I work well. You can talk to your wife. Like I work well with people,
Yeah.
but I honestly don't know how well I work in the like. I love my place of employment. I wake up happy every day to go
Yeah.
to work, and I would hate for that to change because I'm getting help.
Right. Sure.
So that's my fear is
Well,
the issue. What I'm coming into realization that I like, this is last week realization, during the PLC, people were talking about students that were going to take their class again, and they were failing or weren't interested in theater, but because they picked theater, they get to take theater again.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that, because as a solo teacher for the last several years, I've been able to pick. After theater one, I decide who then can go on. Also, it's a service disservice, but ultimately anyone, all my shows, all 6 shows are open auditions, including my UIL. So whether I teach you or not, if you feel like you want to act, I accept you. So I don't feel like I'm leaving kids out, but I'm keeping peace. They know Mama Hughes is there. You need some Yoda in here, baby. And just keeps peace. And if we had tech, then of course I would love to have someone come over and teach the kids how to turn the power on, because I don't know how to do that. But to do what I do, I don't see, I see more issues than I do the benefit, or I've heard of more issues than the benefit. So I would hate to then hate my job because I'm getting help.
Sorry, I'm answering another teacher's text about I need more light on the stage, and here we are in a pandemic and a lockdown, and they're in my theater, or by the time this podcast airs, it might not be my theater anymore. So I know. Well, hey, I'm still here though. I'm still around. But first of all, give yourself more credit with the tech. that was a fluky thing, but you've put on some. Your shows have had good support, and it's not an overwhelming support, which I think is also something that adjudicators and judges in the middle school one-act play world appreciate. You're not trying to do too much. Now, all that said, I hear you with not wanting the second because of the babysitting thing. I can empathize with that a little bit, but
if you're going to have someone, you need to respect that person as your equal.
Now, what happens if I'm going to play devil's advocate? What happens if somebody with a pedigree, with a background, says, "Joy, I want to work with you, and I know you have the numbers." Would that be something you would be down with?
No.
I wish this was a video podcast or a vlog, I guess, because you were shaking your head kind of yes and no, and you said no. That's great. So what about when?
I recognize. Am I going to have this forever? Absolutely not. But for my school and what my school offers to people would ruin other arts.
Right.
It would kill programs. Like, I have the numbers that I have, but if 320 kids were able to take theater, what happens to choir, orchestra, robot? Like, we have a lot of options at Missouri City.
Right.
They have robotics. They make apps and everything. Choir, Kickstart. So for me to have that many numbers and we have that many people, if I get somebody else, I work with family.
Yeah.
So how can I hurt my brother or my sister who, has a new family, just bought a new property? And I know if I get another teacher, their program is going to die.
Do your kids know that you choose who advances on for the next year?
Yes. Which is why they come into the class like I could get rid of them.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good thing to kind of the carrot in front of the horse kind of thing. So,
Day one, you start auditioning today.
Right.
But I feel like when you walk into a real audition, if you're sitting in the lobby being a jerk, don't think because you come in, "Hi, my name is," that's the only thing that's going to count. No, It starts from the minute you walk in the door. So your audition for production starts today. Hi, how are you?
That's awesome. Do you miss anything about the little ones, like the kindergarten or first grade kids?
No.
You didn't nod on that one either.
Children. So no, because I have them.
Well, now you have them. Yeah.
I have a 5-year-old and now a 9-year-old. So I get the pre-K, kinder plus the elementary, and I'm good. I don't need it outside of my house.
Hey, so something we're dealing with right now. This is not theater. Well, first of all, are both your kids theatrical?
Yes.
Okay, so then we're on the same at this eye
Yes.
to eye here. So we're dealing with a lockdown pandemic. You got to stay at home. Your kids can't be kids, kind of stuff, or in the
Yeah.
traditional sense. When
Mhm.
did your 9-year-old become a teenager? Because we're dealing with that right now.
Oh, just now?
Well,
Then you are lucky.
Ava's 7.5, right? And she rolls her eyes. She says, "Dad, I know. Dad, I know."
Yeah.
Like,
Got it.
yeah,
That's what I'm getting. Got it.
yeah. Like, when did that start for you though?
So we've been home
Out of the
since
womb?
March. Right, right. Now Ari's been different, but no, this teenager, the attitude just started. So we've been home since March 5th. By
Yeah.
April, I was ready for her to get a job.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and I'm feel the same way about Ava right now. It's
I'm
like,
like, where is it's Aria? My daughter's name is Aria. I'm like, where's my sweet Aria? She's
are you
like, what do you mean?
are you bringing in any of your skills from back in the day to help
Like
homeschool?
whooping? I'm just
Like,
kidding. What is
well, I hope you weren't whooping at the school. What you do with your own kids, I don't care. But
well, you got to remember how old I am now. We had paddles when I was in school, so
well, when you were in school, right? But not when you were teaching. The same with
hate
me.
that because again, this is you, so you can't say when you were in school because they don't see me, so they
Right.
don't know that you can't see.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. When you were in school in the late '90s, but yeah, no, I got a couple of
Paddles.
paddles, and the one that was the worst with the one with the holes in it, and you hoped that they were finished holes, like you hoped they sanded it, not
Yeah,
just like some dad randomly drilling holes that didn't just,
I
yeah, that was pretty
Are
bad.
you asking me if I beat my students?
No, I don't know. I'm asking. The original question was, I'm asking you if you're using any of your tactics from when you taught younger kids, because your
Oh,
biological children are still not middle school kids. Are you
right.
using those tactics from when you were a elementary school teacher plus? I know you were more than that, but to teach your own biological kids.
No. They get it. No, like, no.
Are they in the same district? They in Fort Bend?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So they're using Schoology?
they
Okay.
are.
Okay.
My daughter, my son he's now
Right.
graduating.
Right. He's a big graduate. Yeah.
I've learned so much about Schoology, and I'm like, I'm a teacher, but
Yeah.
the parent side is so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And it's when Ava was showing me different things on Schoology that you can do, I was like, taking notes so I could do it for my own kids or my own
Same, same.
students.
Yeah, Aria's been teaching me. I haven't taught her much since we've been here, but she's been teaching me.
I did not know that you could put them in order and then make them check things.
Yes,
Yeah.
I found that out too. I
Yeah.
missed like the first 2 weeks. She didn't do any science or social studies. I never even knew it was a page two. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
man, her school loves fine arts because that's all I'm seeing. But she arranged it so that I'm bugging her to
Yeah.
do
That's
art.
funny. So that's funny. So you said you were at TSU, right? As the
I
owner.
worked
Yeah, 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 yeah. You were working. You were an employee of, not a student of.
right.
Did you do when you were there? You said 4 years you were there.
6, 7, 8. No, yes.
Okay. Did you do theater at TSU?
No.
Okay, because I know that they have a pretty good, pretty well-to-do theater department. As far as I know, because I know like Thomas Milan's son was directing there and doing things like that. So, and he's got a name.
It has changed years.
Okay,
From when I was there to now is definitely on the up and up
okay.
for
Did
sure.
Were you doing theater locally though?
Yes, yes.
What where?
Or from I did Theater Southwest, Community Theater on Main. The old country is now called something different. Country Playhouse.
Oh, country.
It's
Now
Queensberry.
it's, yeah, Queensberry.
Yeah, we worked together
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Great, right?
And we didn't know that you were in Rent, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So all over, I did what is it? The Houston Grand Opera. I was with them.
Really?
Yeah.
Singing?
Yep. I was a screamer and a dancer, actually. So I
Really?
screamed for their singers, yes.
Wow.
So that the singers don't ruin their voice, but who cares about mine? But yeah, I didn't need a microphone or anything. I screamed backstage and they heard it. at work.
That's funny.
Screaming.
Did you
Yeah.
audition for that?
Scream? There's no. If you heard me scream, you would not need to audition me. I don't know how it happened, but I started as a dancer. For some reason, I screamed, and it was like the actual opera singer came over to me and was like, "What is your name?" You know. And so it was like a contract. I got paid to scream. I lived off of that for 2 years.
Really?
I will scream for you, world. I am still screaming.
Did you warm up?
It was great. No.
That's really funny. I wonder if you were there. I did one show there. I did Manon when I was younger.
I was a regular.
Yeah. No, I was an intern. I got paid for it, but I was a stage management intern, and that was quite the experience for me. I remember
they are on it. I loved it.
They're not just on it, but they play as hard as they practice. So, and I was young. I think I just turned 21, if not still late 20s, or late 20. Because I remember drinking a lot, but I don't remember thinking I'm allowed to do this. So
things changed a little since then.
Yeah, that was almost 2 decades ago. So that's funny, but I didn't know that you can get hired as a professional screamer for HGO.
Yes, I will scream for you one day, and you're gonna say, "Wow." Do
you have that on your resume?
Of course, I can cross one eye at a time. That is also on my resume.
You could cross one eye. You know, the first place my mind went was you don't cross eyes, you dot eyes. But
no, my eyeball.
I know your eyeballs.
Cross each eyeball. It actually does say eyeball, though. So eyeball separately.
So Jennifer has on her resume that she can sing Anything Goes in Mandarin Chinese. So it's an icebreaker, right? On my resume, I worked for the Astros for 15 years, but I constantly give my resume to theater people, so that's my icebreaker. Is you crossing your eyes the icebreaker?
Of course, because they always want that. Nobody understands it, and they're like, "Wait a minute, it says you can." Yeah, I can. And then they want to see.
That's funny. So you're still doing? Because I know you just did a show not too long ago.
Yeah, I'm still a working actor. Yeah.
How are you balancing?
I think if I thought about it, I would drop it. So I don't. I just do it.
Right. Do your kids come see your work?
No, I don't do anything kid appropriate or friendly.
But do they know you're like? They know, yeah. So they has your oldest been in a show? Has your oldest done anything?
Yes, she has. My daughter has been in theater. She did a show in Indiana actually.
Oh, did she?
She flew down there like 2 summers ago and did a show with them. She's awesome. She will be my student. I'm put that out there right now.
Is she gonna be Is she gonna be at Mo City?
See, this is the thing. We are not zoned to my school, but I am not gonna compete against her because she's gonna whatever school she goes to, man.
You're gonna be she's gonna win Best Actress or Best
Right.
Performer. And
it won't be at my school.
Yeah, you're gonna be struggling. You're gonna be like, screw you, Sartarsha.
Right. And then the struggle is she can't be like she couldn't lead everything if I'm the director because then it just looks bad.
That's not true.
Everybody.
I don't think that's true. I think if she is the best, then other students will know that she's the best. Because I like Nicole Morgan, and she won't mind me saying this. Nicole Morgan, who at the time was at Memorial, her son is just a disgustingly phenomenal actor, and was in a lot of shows, and was the lead in a lot of shows. So, but people knew he's great. He's just very talented. And then the in the Woodlands that I worked for in the class act shows, the lead is typically the artistic director's son because he's as crazy as this might sound, if you know Brandon Brumfield, he's the manliest of everybody that auditions, and he's not even that manly. So, but anyway, that's funny. So, right now you're quarantining. Okay, what has been the one thing that you are going to take from this as a positive once we go back to quote unquote normal school?
That I don't need wine.
You don't need wine, or you don't need to wine.
I don't need to
Oh,
drink wine. I think after this is all over, I'll be done with wine when it's all over. I think that's what I learned.
Yeah.
That alcohol does not solve everything. Temporarily, no, I'm kidding. All
Yeah.
this is a joke,
Yeah.
America.
No, that's funny though. I
Um,
I mean, I'm sitting. I mean, it's what 2 o'clock, and I just had made a Malibu and Coke because we needed to get rid of a bottle in our refrigerator.
that's what I keep saying, but then I keep buying the bottles. So me saying I get rid of them, this really isn't working. But honestly, like just in general, past work or anything, I think that I am total. I don't think I realized how much I truly do love and like my family.
Yeah.
I know it sounds really, but like I've been married 11 years and my husband is a musician. He's a band director and a musician. So he travels and, does all that. And it's like we've really been able to spend time together and you forget how much you kind of walk past each other or,
Yeah.
even with the kids because they're in school. And it's just like I've been here for 9 weeks or something crazy now because we're not leaving because I'm not playing. But do I need a break every now and then? Of course, just because I'm human. But at the end of the day, I'm like, wow, I have a cool husband and really cool kids. Did I mention my mother-in-law moved in
Oh, my
the
mother-in-law
week
lives with us.
before? Yeah, mine
Yeah.
does. It happened the week before all of this happened. So even her, if you would have told me last year, hey, you're gonna be stuck in the house with your mother-in-law
Yeah.
for 10 weeks. I would have been like, no, I'm not. But now it's just like, hey, where you go? Like, I love my family. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm taking on.
It's crazy. Like I'm a social butterfly, and so I have missed that quite a bit. And but I haven't. Like I'm enjoying myself. And Jennifer
Right.
is such a homebody, a family person, that she's just milking this big time, loving being with the dogs and the kids and all
I
kinds of
hope
stuff.
y'all have a Corona baby. I'm just saying.
No, we're not gonna have a Corona baby. We are not. We have two nephews. One on my side of the family, one on her side. One is currently here. Probably if you're hearing screaming in the background, that's him. And he's
That's what I
16.
need.
Yeah, no. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. He's a year old. But those are our boys. Because I know everybody wants us to have a boy. It's not gonna happen, Joy.
I have a boy and a girl. I wanted a boy first, but if he was my first, he would have been my last. So y'all probably on the right track with
Yeah.
just keeping the girls.
And I'm and R.I.P. Kobe, but I'm a girl dad. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah,
They
no.
are different. Girls, I always heard boys were easier and this and that, but my daughter was, like I said, if he was the first, he would have been my last.
Yeah.
My daughter fooled us, so we thought, hey, we can do this again.
Yeah.
And then we had the boy. Don't do it. But
Yeah.
I do hope y'all have something.
No, we may get another dog. I don't know.
No.
Oh.
I have money on y'all and Spikes. We're gonna have another baby.
Yeah, Spike. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
Edit this.
Yeah. No, we don't have to. She knows. She's the one with the 12 kids at home. Yeah, and KB too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so back on track. Let's get this. We'll do a couple more minutes because I'm actually going to be in just a few minutes. I'm going to be delivering my cords to the 3 seniors that earned their honor cords. So
that's so
yeah, I'm excited about it. I haven't seen them yet, and I'm literally going to roll my window down and throw it. Yep, throw it at them. Yep. 100%.
Cool.
Now, the thing about that is I would do that regardless of if we were in this or not. I would throw it at them even at school.
Yes.
So really nothing has changed. They won't be surprised.
I get it.
What is your favorite role that you've ever played? Because I know you've done it quite a bit.
I have not. I want to play a crazy person. Like I want to have multiple personalities. I want to cry and yell and laugh. Like I want to do all of this. I never get cast in those type of roles. You get cast young and innocent and all the things like that. No, or a lesbian. I do get cast as
Yeah.
lesbian quite often. I think that was when I had the locks more
Right.
so, but yeah. So maybe
So
I'll get a man
what
be
is that play?
crazy soon.
Do you know what that play is?
Which like a Sybil or like a no, I don't. I think I'm just gonna write
You
it
have to
because no
write it.
one would cast me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Whoopi Goldberg, one woman show on Broadway, and I'll be a white girl and just everything.
Does she have a one woman show on Broadway, or did she?
She does.
Oh,
This
okay.
was from way back in the '80s when you were being thought of, and yeah, but she did like a white girl, and she's like all these different people. That's what I want to do.
See, when I think of one person shows, I think of John Leguizamo.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess he's not Whoopi.
But it's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
the same kind of thing. You can look hers up, but it's the same kind of thing. She just kind of goes through talks, becomes different people.
So
That's what I want to do. That's
so
like my
if
dream.
you're hearing this, somebody needs to write a one woman show for Joy to play a bunch of
Right.
different.
I could be a man.
Hey,
That's good. Is that all you? That's it? That's all he can say.
no, I can talk. I can do a whole sentence.
That's good.
Yeah, that's real good.
I don't want to ask your husband how he feels about that.
That's part of my life I didn't mention there.
Yeah, that could be fun for you to play, like when he's coming home and you use your man voice before he enters the
Yes.
door. It's like,
That's
hey,
what I do to my students.
yeah, do I need to hide?
No, this year,
Yeah.
I had a class, first class ever in my whole teaching career that got on my nerves,
Yeah.
like completely. So I told them I was never coming back. I'm sick of y'all. It was theater one because again I choose everybody else. So they got anyway, 7th and 8th grades, theater one. And I told them I was never coming back. And for a whole week, every day I was someone different. And it got to the point where they were so excited to see who I was. After a week, my class, I was an African woman, Miss Houston. I was a man.
That was Mr. Houston right there.
But like I did like every day I was a country person, like someone different every day.
So you know what's funny? What's funny about you is you kind of have a southern.
South side of Chicago.
Yeah. No. You have a. See, my brain said I'm going to hear what I want to hear, and then it was like, no, she just said the wrong thing. You have a
I do.
a Southern American, not a Southern Chicago.
When I was there, they used to ask me where I was from. When I came here, they want to know where I'm from. I don't know.
What does your family think of, like?
Think I'm country too.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah,
They're very like my husband. Everybody's very proper, but I'm country.
I want to wrap up on
Okay.
mostly because we have kids, and you're in the bathroom, I'm in a closet. It's just not a good mix right now.
I need you to come out the closet now. Please.
Right. It's been a struggle my whole life. But I want to. You're a very inspirational person. So you have a lot of energy. There are a lot of people that look up to you for don't make that face. There are because of how your outlook on how you go about your day. Like you already said earlier, you wake up, you're happy to go to work, and you've got a 9 and a 5-year-old. You've got 100+ kids that you see every day. You probably know all their names. Yeah. And you find something in each of them to love. 90% of them, we'll say. But what is a joyism that you kind of hold on to that maybe somebody told you way back in the day that you just kind of keep in the back of your mind that you can sometimes call up and gets you going either for your day, for that theater one class that you just didn't like last year? What is something that you could pass on to the future educators of America that keeps Joi Hughes going?
This too shall pass.
That's great.
That's
That's great. Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Live and let die.
That's it. It starts every day. You can start anew.
Yep.
The bad stuff, it'll go away.
Yeah.
The good stuff, unfortunately, goes away too, and you gotta do it again.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks, Joy.
Minor wisdom.